Hey guys, welcome in. It is Brad with College SportsCast. That was a
Are you
little
there?
bumbly there at the beginning, but
Are you there? Are you there, Leroy?
we are going to bring you our big fuss show tonight, and we have Tennessee taking it out on Oklahoma and Michigan surviving at home.
Can I please have your attention? There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
All right, guys, welcome into the big fuss show with College SportsCast. I am your host, Brad, and I've got John Hammonds here with me right this minute. What's up, Hammonds?
What's up, man?
We are into week 5 of college football already. Doesn't seem right that we are week 5. It started, I guess, about a month ago with week 0. The week 0 games did about a month ago. But it does not seem right that we are already into week 5. But we are here. So, all right, guys, you can help support us if you're on Facebook. You can help support us by sending stars, or you can subscribe to our Facebook page. It is 99 cents a month. That's all. And that helps support us for us to earn a little bit of money to help make more content. The more we can get, the more we make. And so we appreciate you guys doing that for us. Want to get that started right off the bat here. This is the Big Fuss Show. Let me get our thing going down here at the bottom. And this is week 5, season 3 for us. We're presented by Greenville Sports Media. We are featured on the Real Fresh channel and WSBN TV channel 30. And then some of our sponsors there, Home Field Apparel and True Victory, are going to scroll across the bottom as well. So you can pay attention to that while it scrolls throughout the most of the show. Anyway. All right, John, I know me and you are going to differ on this one, but we got to open the show talking about probably the biggest game of the weekend last week, and that was Tennessee at Oklahoma. I feel like you're way, way on board with this Tennessee team. I'm not quite there yet. I mean, Tennessee went into Norman and won a ball game 25-15 over Oklahoma. I'm not gonna poo-poo a good win like that, because to be quite honest with you, getting a win anytime in Norman, Oklahoma is absolutely tough to do. So I'll start with that.
It is, and I think right now the offense is going to improve as the season goes. But the main thing that I took away from this game was I think their defense is a lot better than their offense at this point. And
yeah,
I gotta have him, bro.
yeah.
You're on.
Oh.
Yeah, I took him off. So
okay.
He's on the phone or something.
They have a better defense right now than I think they have an offense. And I think when the situation presents itself, he's going to do his smothering defense like he did Saturday night, which if you're going to win a championship, you got to play some defense. And I think, Tim Banks has done a really good job. They're first nationally in total defense, second in rushing defense, and I think they're ranked nationally in third down defense, second. So, and the best news for Tennessee, though, is they got a couple tests coming up. They got Alabama October 19th. They have Georgia November 16th. And they're only going to get better offensively with a quarterback who's he can make every throw. He can pinpoint the ball. I was really impressed with Nico Saturday night when he threw that zip to Thornton right down the streak. Not many quarterbacks can make that kind of throw that Nico made. And I think the more it goes on, this offense is just going to be hard to stop, hard to deal with. Defense is going to have problems with them all season long. But they're anything but a finished product. They still got a lot to prove. But to me, it's the most complete team that Josh Heupel has had in Knoxville, and they're playing with a big edge right now. Which they're off this week. They get to prepare.
I don't know, man. That Hendon Hooker team a couple of years ago, John, was pretty damn good. If you ask me, I mean, from what I've seen so far, Hendon Hooker is a better quarterback than Nico. I mean,
at this point,
it's not. I mean, to me, it's not even close.
At this point, yes,
not right this minute.
No, I'm thinking, Nico still has a lot of growing to do. A lot of, he's got to keep doing his reads and whatnot. But I think as time goes, I think you're going to see this Tennessee team get even better as the season goes. And it starts with their defense. That's the one thing I was impressed with Saturday night. To be honest,
I will say their defense is tons better.
Their defense is good, but to be fair, Oklahoma's offensive line is not great, and their quarterback situation is not great. Jackson Arnold.
So
listen,
that's where I want to go with this. Hang on a minute. That's where I want to go with this. Is I know that a lot of people are really hyping, the Tennessee win and everything, and it's a good win. I'm not going to say that it's not, but honestly, in this game on Saturday night, if Oklahoma can cut out a few turnovers, they have a chance to win this game.
They do, especially I think it was early. They had a fumble in Tennessee's red zone. They had a couple mistakes there towards the first of the game.
They had a couple of turnovers in this game. It was very, very costly. And if they clean that up, even with Jackson Arnold playing quarterback, they were right there in this game.
Well, and another thing, they had the Hawkins kid. The Hawkins kid came in and played really well. The backup to Jackson Arnold, I thought, and he's the starter this week. Brent Venables made him the starter for Saturday at Auburn. So we'll find out if that offense is really that Jackson Arnold is bad, or if Tennessee's defense is really, really good, or the fact that
– all right, Jason, I got you on.
Or the fact that Hawkins is just a better quarterback. So we'll find out Saturday when they play Auburn.
All right. So, I've been hearing – I've got a friend that a couple of years ago was on with us a little bit. His name is Mason Cross, and he was on with us a little bit a couple of years ago when we first kind of started this. He's from Oklahoma. He's a big Oklahoma Sooners fan, and he had been hyping up Jackson Arnold for 2 years to me. And so far, I mean, the kid's struggling, but I will say this. They lost their entire offensive line, and it's showing on the offensive side of the ball for them.
It really showed Saturday night.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jason, are you in?
Can y'all hear me?
I can.
I don't know if y'all heard. I was on the phone earlier. Got 12 things going in one.
I cut you off pretty quick, but yeah, I got you. I got you. I know how it is. So this is Jason Harrison. He is joining us here with the Big Fuss Show. We are going to move on to Michigan. Survives and gets a big win at home. In Ann Arbor, over I think they were top 10 at the time, ranked USC team, or if they were right there at the top 10, if they weren't. And USC was favored 4.5 points in this game. On Friday night when we did our game day pick'ems. So, John, they started Orgy at quarterback, and he led a late drive and won 27-24. What did you think about the Wolverines and the way they played on Saturday?
I mean, I thought they did really well. They've sputtered the last 3 games, especially in the loss against Texas. they found out what their identity was, and that's running the football. They had Khalil Mullings. He led the way on the ground for their running game. They only passed for 32 yards. I think that was the most fewest yards they've had in a game since, 1987
I think that's what you're going to see with this Michigan team from here on out.
Which he only completed 7 passes, Alex Orji, but he gave Michigan a boost with 43 rushing yards. So I think they're ranked last among Power 4 teams in passing. But if they can run like they did against USC Saturday, they could reemerge in the playoff picture. But they're going to have to continue to do. Yeah. They're going to have to continue to do that going forward because it don't get no easier with the schedule. So good win.
Right.
I thought USC didn't play real well first half. I thought second half they played a lot better. But there was just some mental mistakes. The Miller Moss throw to Will Johnson, the pick six. He just made some errant throws that you just don't do on the road and win the big house and it come back to bottom.
Yeah. Jason, did you get to watch any of the Michigan USC game on Saturday or catch some highlights or something? Because I was working.
I caught some highlights, man, and I want to ask you guys a question. Did Michigan lose a lot last year, or is it just like I said, did Michigan lose a lot? Let me answer that first question. Did Michigan lose a lot last year?
Off the offense.
I feel like on the offensive side of the ball, they did.
They lost their quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. They lost Blake Corum. They lost some key guys on the offensive side of the ball. So
because it looks like it. And I know USC is lost a quarterback as well and some players as well. But these teams don't look like the top tier teams, Michigan or USC. I know Michigan had a hell of a 2-3 year run. I'm just not sold on Lincoln Riley right now, man. I think he's a great play caller.
Oh, I'm not.
I think that defense
either. To be honest with you,
I felt Saturday.
Yeah,
though,
I'm not either on Lincoln.
Their defense I thought had improved, but there's still some holes in that defense that need to be fixed.
I do think their defense at USC has improved so far this season. That is a bonus because their defense has been, and let's just be honest with you, their defense had nowhere to go but improve. I mean, it's been horrendous the last 2 years. So, I mean, you could bring in anybody almost and it would improve it. I mean, to be quite honest with you. So, I'm still not sold that it's improved enough in the rough and tough Big Ten. They're not playing out west in the Pac-12 anymore. So, we'll see when it comes to that. But I do think Michigan survived with a big win here. That win,
I agree.
After getting kind of demolished against Texas, that win at home as an underdog, which never happens to them, by the way. As an underdog, that win at home, like John said a few minutes ago, could propel them to at least being in the conversation later in the season for the college football playoff.
But here's the thing. I think Michigan can't afford many more losses. They're going to probably have to win out at least to Ohio State if they want to have a shot. They're not going to be able to just go and lose a couple games here or there because the committee's just not going to put them in.
Well, I mean, think about who they lost to. Think about who they lost to.
They lost to Texas.
Texas is a pretty damn good team.
That's not going to hurt them.
That's not going to hurt them.
It's really not going to hurt them.
And 2 losses wouldn't hurt them at all either. But I agree with you though. But what I'm saying though, Jason, is the fact that where they haven't really played that well, you just can't play the way they've been playing against middle tier Big Ten teams because Nebraska's better this year.
John, if they were to lose one more and then beat Ohio State at the end of the year, and that's the only thing. Like they would be in the conversation.
I agree with you, John, when you said they probably need to win out to get to that
They're
big game.
They're probably going to have to win out to Ohio State. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're right. I can agree with that too.
All right, we're going to move on to another big game that happened this weekend, and Utah goes into Stillwater and beats Oklahoma State without Cam Rising, which was a surprise. Which was a surprise to me. I mean, I picked Utah in this game, but I picked Utah with the sense that Cam Rising would probably play. Utah has always been strong defensively, and they showed it here in this game, holding Oklahoma State to 19 points, and they won 22-19. John, it is a huge statement win for them over Oklahoma State because I feel like K-State, Oklahoma State, and Utah are kind of the head and shoulders above the rest of the Big 12 this year. And we'll get to the K-State game next, but both teams lost, and now they play each other next week. So Utah has a clear advantage in the Big 12 after this win.
They do, and I've said it. I said it all day Saturday. You know, the offensive line is not getting credit as much as they should for this win. They had, I think, 273 yards on the ground. They really punished Oklahoma State on the ground Saturday. You know, they ran for 140 yards on 17 carries, I think, to the right side. And then I think on the left, I can't remember what they had on the left, but they had a lot of cutback plays. They had a lot of play side runs. You know, that's something we've not grown accustomed to because Utah's has been more of a team that has thrown it through the air with Cam Rising. And they just went into Stillwater and they punished them on the ground for a lot of yardage. And this Oklahoma State team is that great, which they got a big game this week. Kansas State comes to town. So it's a really big game this week, I think. And to be honest, it's big for both teams because now you get two losses.
The loser is way behind the 8 ball after this week between Oklahoma State and K-State.
Yeah, it's a tough. Wait a minute, that game's at Kansas State, ain't it? Is it Kansas State?
I think it is.
But
they do play each other. I can't remember exactly where it is.
They play this weekend, but I felt like Utah did a really great thing. You know, run the football. They just punished them. You know, Oklahoma State came back in the game, got close again, but they just never could.
They did that last year some when they were without Cam Rising as well. They went into some places and had a running scheme game plan and won a lot of games last year that way as well, Jason.
They did.
I mean, they've been playing that way because Cam was out last year. So they did that last year some too.
Man, I was thoroughly impressed the way Utah's team traveled and showed out in Stillwater, man. I did not think that they were up to the challenge, but, man, they actually showed up and showed out. I was thoroughly impressed with
And I'm going to even go as far –
that defense keeps them in the game.
Yeah. And I'm going to go as far as say this, that Utah might be the best team in the Big 12 right now.
Man, it's not a bad argument. It's not a bad argument.
I'm just saying I kind of picked them to win the Big 12 before the season started.
Well, I mean, if you jump to the Big 12 from the Pac-10 from the Pac-12, might as well be the number one team, right?
Man, might as well. I mean, I can't wait to watch Utah the next couple of games. I just can't wait to watch. But I hope this is not a fluke. And you're right,
hey,
man.
That was a huge win for the Utes. Yeah, it was a huge win for the Utes. And that defense, I mean, I know they ran the ball and kind of changed their game plan, but that defense holds, you know, the opposing team and keeps them in games to be able to do that. And you just, you know, I don't think Utah gets nearly enough credit for their defense, and they haven't for the last 3 years, to be honest. All right, the next one is a Big 12 game too, and this one was severely impressive to me. BYU in Provo demolished Kansas State 38-9. Now, John, game day, our game day pick'ems, I said that Provo was a tough place to play. And I said that BYU is probably going to be ready and come ready to play. However, my dumb butt didn't stick with my own thoughts, and I picked Kansas State to cover the 4, 5, 6 point spread, whatever it was, and I should have went the other way around because I knew BYU they've been playing well, but I didn't see that one coming. Did you see 38-9?
I didn't, but the thing that really impressed me during this game was they hit them with I can't remember. It was, I think, 31 points in like 6 minutes. Like, it was just like bam, 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 bam. And then they had the punt return that it went over his head, and he couldn't grab the ball real quick.
Yeah, that might be the play of the year so far. That might be the play of the year so far.
If people did not watch that you need to go back and watch that play, because I don't know how he scored on that. That was, to me, that was the most impressive punt return I've seen in quite a while. Like, he was going from his back, and then he just like cleared an alley and was just gone. Like, and now we're talking,
went over his head, almost went in the end zone.
Yeah. Now we're talking about BYU possibly be 5-0 this week. They go to Baylor.
I mean,
who would have
they're
thought?
Right there. I mean, can they win the Big 12? I mean, seriously,
it's there for the taking. I'll say that.
If you can beat Kansas State, who is a leader in the Big 12 or has been, if you can beat them 38-9, you should be able to be in that conversation, right, Jason?
Hey, man. Defense travels, and obviously their offense traveled too. Another impressive win on Saturday. I was shocked. I thought that this was a typo when I saw it right across the ticket when I got in from my son's game. I thought it was. I had to rewind the TV. Like, did I just see that score? Didn't get a chance to watch it, but seeing the highlights and here you got
to be fair, Jason, it was after dark. I mean, it was a late game. it was a real late game. So, but a lot of people might have already hit the snooze button after they had went 31-6 or something like that. It was.
Man, that's impressive.
It was an impressive win by BYU. They are sitting at 4-0. They have beat Kansas State. I mean, they're in a driver's seat now in the Big 12. I mean, you got Utah and BYU. Wouldn't that be something if the two new teams, one from last year from Utah, would meet and fight out the Big 12?
The Holy War.
I mean, that would be, I mean, that would be something, wouldn't it? I'm just saying, just throwing it out there.
That's a fact.
Very, very impressive. That would be that.
Well, and you can't forget. And to be honest, Brad, you can't forget about Iowa State. They're right in the thick of it too. Like, they're right there too. Like, they're 3-0 out of the gate. So
they are.
The Big 12 is an exciting league right now.
Iowa State's been playing well too, so you're right on that.
They have, yeah.
All right, another impressive win, and this was on Friday night. This was Friday night that this one happened. Illinois, in an overtime, knocks off a 3-0 undefeated Nebraska in Lincoln. And I'll be honest with you, John and I were both on our preview show on Big Ten. Like, we were both wrong about Illinois. I will fully say that as of right now. I mean, this Illinois team, while I'm still not saying that they are top notch, but they're hard nosed and they come ready to play.
I'm going to tell you what I think has improved the play of Illinois, and it starts at quarterback. A lot of people thought coming into the year that Luke Altmaier was not going to be that great.
Luke Altmaier.
And he's come into
Ole
this
Miss
year
quarterback used to be,
and he's really done a really great job with that offense, guiding that offense. And their defense is not bad either, not too shabby. Their defense caused Dylan Raiola to have headaches
they're
in
kind
that
of known
overtime.
for their defense a little bit,
and they're known for it. Yeah. So,
yeah.
And then they got a big game this week. They go from Nebraska, they go to the Happy Valley and play Penn State.
Penn State.
So,
yep.
This is a big opportunity for Illinois this week. What happens if Illinois beats Penn State? We're talking about Illinois being in the hunt for the Big Ten championship.
At least, college football playoff or more. Yeah.
And we never even. Well, what I'm saying, we didn't even have them in that mix on our preview show. Like we had them in the middle of the pack, and now they're right there in the taking to at least jump in the first couple slots.
I mean, look, they've been impressive. Nebraska coming off that Colorado win was 3-0 before this game. I mean, this was at home. You got the whole Lincoln, Cornhusker crowd going crazy at home, which is a tough place to play. And go in and beat them at home, Jason, definitely makes a statement.
Man, yeah. Where's home field advantage now? These last 3 games that we talked about, I mean, what was that? Check over your trap. Hey, these teams been coming on the road, and man, they've been really taking over the home field advantage, man. I'm just shocked, man. Is college football? Where's college football going now? I mean, you're supposed to have home field advantage. The home team is supposed to show up, and for Illinois to go into, I couldn't believe that score either. So I mean, if I was a gambling man, I would have lost a lot of money this past weekend.
I actually was very glad that I was busy and didn't bet on this game because I was totally going to take Nebraska in the 7 points. And
how could you not take Nebraska the way they demolished Colorado? How could you not jump on that bandwagon?
I was totally going to take Nebraska in the 7 points, and I would have lost my, in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I was glad that I didn't bet on this.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. And
100%.
Some coaches are out here coaching their rear ends off, like they say. They're coaching their rear and they're getting their kids ready to play, man. So that just shows the parity.
Hey, I'll be honest with you, Brett here at Illinois. I thought maybe if they had a bad season, he would be on the hot seat. But it's looking like he's ready to take a new next step.
Well, you look back at his tenure at Wisconsin and Arkansas, he had these same type teams until it got really stale and they moved on from him. But he had some physical
and that's the thing. His teams, I know, but his teams always he would have that 1 year every now and then that would stand out and they get it all together and they would play well and have a 9-4 season or something like that. And then he would have 2 or 3 years where it just doesn't work in jail and they go, 5-7 or something, 4-8, 5-7. But when he does get it right, his teams are pretty good.
Seeing his work a time or two in these neck of the woods, seeing his work a time or two. Very familiar with that coach.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and they're at Arkansas, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, so we are going to get to the Pac-12. We got a lot to cover here with the Pac-12. They are trying to get back into football, I guess you could say, get back into college sports and survive. And Jason, I got to start with you on this one. This actually surprised the hell out of me, to be honest. Memphis, Tulane, UTSA, and South Florida, USF, all said no to the Pac-12 and are staying in the American Athletic Conference. I will be honest with you, Jason. This one shocked me. This kind of surprised me, and I know you're going to probably be on the other side of this. So before you get started, and you might not be, but you probably are. Before you get started, 7 of the 10 original AAC teams are already playing in other conferences. SMU, Cincinnati, Houston. I mean, the list goes on, have left the AAC for Big 12, ACC. Memphis has needed and wanted a bigger conference. Now, this won't probably be a Power 5 all my life. And they get an opportunity and they pass. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Man, Brett, I don't think
help me understand.
I don't think that it was the right move right now. And you talking about look at the travel, man. You look at what Memphis. Now, Memphis, one thing I can say now, I don't know if you guys know that, Memphis is an international airport. So travel would not be as hard. But you look at the other teams.
I'll share with you some financial details, and that may be part of what this is.
Yeah, break it down. Break the numbers down. I'm a numbers guy. Break the numbers down for me.
Okay, so here's some financial details between the AAC and what the Pac-12 is thinking that they can get, okay? So the AAC shares somewhere between $7 and $9 million a year with their teams. That's what they get as shares, somewhere between revenue shares between 7 and 9 million a year. Okay. The AAC is the top group of 5 conference for revenue shares. The Mountain West is second, and they share around $5 million to their teams. So they get about 7 to 9. They are the top. Now, here's where it gets. So the Pac-12 with these 4 teams was saying they could get close to 15 million, somewhere between 12 and 15 million in revenue share with these 4 teams. Okay. So it would be at least $5 million more per year. If, somewhere in that range, $4 or $5 million more per year. Okay. Now, here's the kicker. SMU last year just left to go to the ACC. They had to pay a $25 million exit fee. So, and then there was a $2.5 million revenue that would not go to these teams if they left. So it was going to cost each team $27.5 million to leave the AAC.
There it is right there.
$27.5 million.
There it is right there. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. If you tell me that you want me to leave and then I'm going to end up owing $27 million, you probably going to stay put too.
25. Well, that was paid to the AAC, not.
It
wouldn't have been to the it was an exit fee. Yeah,
I'm not exit fee. No, I'm not paying it. Not right now. I think they probably get around.
SMU paid it to go to the ACC last year.
SMU is one of those schools that is in the state of Texas that has donors. That has the money.
I think too, that could be part of the issue going forward is the exit fee. Is that instead of paying all that money, you just keep those teams together and you keep that conference afloat. And I think what this is going to do, me and Dad had this conversation today. What this is probably going to do, Jason, this is going to make the Pac-12 say, hey, maybe UNLV wants to join. and jump on the UNLV bandwagon.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that.
Over.
Yeah.
So I think that's another
absolutely
aspect in this too.
I got a list here. I'm going to go down on kind of what happened yesterday, but I was just shocked that these teams, like I thought for sure they would jump at a chance, especially Memphis and Tulane. Like UTSA as well, to be honest with you. South Florida, I mean, they're in Tampa. That's all the way across the country. I mean, if they didn't want to go, I could kind of see that. But I was kind of surprised by that.
I think you're seeing that with possible UCLA too, down the road. You know, UCLA's not had a really good kind welcome out of the gate. So, but we'll find out more.
Listen, I said for 2 years UCLA was not going to be happy, but we're not going to touch that one tonight.
Brad, right, so Brad don't want to get in his rants tonight.
No, I'm trying to stay on my path here is all I'm trying to do. Okay, so my next one is the Mountain West Conference yesterday. Nearly got the 8 signatures. There's 8 football schools left in the conference after Boise State, Fresno State, Colorado State, San Diego State left the Mountain West. All right. So they were trying to get everybody to sign a grant of rights to stay in the Mountain West. It was under the condition that all 8 had to sign. Okay. They got 7 of the 8 yesterday. And last night, I will pull this up and we'll kind of talk about these together. Utah State doesn't sign and leaves to make the 7th team in the new Pac-12. And
I'll
Mountain West is now in limbo as well.
I'll give my thoughts on this one, and I know it's probably going to not revert to football, but you know, Utah State is more, to me, has been always known for a basketball school, and I know this is probably a football move, but I think also this could be a bigger basketball move for them because, you know, what have we seen? You can ask Brad, the last 3 to 4 years they've had really good teams. They had that Sam Merle team a couple of years back that was really good in basketball, and they made the NCAA tournament. So I think as a whole, I think this improves them for basketball. But where does it improve them from a football aspect is my question. Do you –
Well, I'll say this, John. You said that they are a little bit more known for their basketball. Since 2011, Utah State has made a bowl game in football every year except 2, 2016 and 2020. Every year they've made a bowl game since 2011, except for 2. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good recent history.
It is, but it's not. To me, I feel like, you know, there's a lot more fans that watch them for basketball than they do their football. You know, especially when they've been in the Mountain West and they've competed with teams with San Diego State and others. And I just think there's nothing wrong with going to a bowl game, but, you know, winning 6-7 games a year, is that really
making that bowl game? Yes, because making that bowl game gets your conference money. And right now, the Pac-12 is looking at monies.
I mean, I guess you
put
could
it together.
I mean, I guess you could look at it that way, but I feel like their basketball program has been a big hit too. Especially the last 3 to 5 years, they've had a really good special basketball program.
I think it's both with Utah State, but you can't discount the football and making those bowl games like 10 of the last 12 years or whatever it is. I mean, that's money that the Pac-12 can count on. You know, if you can continue that streak, listen, I know, John, you're against the whole 7 wins going to a bowl game thing, but I'm telling you, for your school and for your conference to get more money, it means something.
Well,
Look
here's
at
my
Kentucky,
thing.
the way they have built. Look at the way they have built the other programs because of the money they're bringing in.
I'm not disregarding you, but Jason can kind of hopefully back me up on this. But you start winning 7, 8 games, well, what's the next level? Like, because you hear Stoops say all the time, and I don't mean to bring Kentucky in this, but it's sort of in that kind of category, like 6, 7 wins. He says, well, we're going to go to the next level. Well, what is the next level? If just winning 6 or 7 games a year is what people are, you know, accustomed to, what's the next level then?
But you're talking about different things. So I'm talking about the Pac-12's looking for monies, right, Jason?
Everybody looking for money, man. Because you got to look at the SEC with the SEC.
Yeah.
In what is the Big Ten? Still called Big Ten. The Big Ten is doing. They done built so much of a power that
it's not the Big 18.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean,
see,
you look at those two conferences, and they're trying to align themselves as the next top tier conference. You got everybody leaving the Pac-12, but now you got people going back to the Pac-12. You see what I'm saying?
See, Jason, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, Jason. I just think money has changed which, don't get me wrong, money's great, but it's a lot of it, some of it with this realignment has destroyed college football in my opinion.
But if you're going to operate a conference, John, you got to have it.
I'm not saying that. I agree with what you're saying, but it's changed how I look at college football now. It's not what it used to.
It's changed the whole landscape of college sports. If you
like
want to be
back in the 90s, I'm more of a 90s football guy. Keep your conferences together. Like I'm just not a huge fan of the whole realignment stuff. Like you win some teams.
Oh, I'm not either.
And then you lose.
But I don't want to see the Pac-12 not survive either. To be quite honest with you,
I agree with you. I'm just saying in general, Jason, that sometimes when you do this and you move these teams from different conferences, some teams get left behind in the dust, and that's where I was kind of.
Man, it's unfortunate. Okay, I'll say this. And this team that I'm about to say looked good this past weekend for so long. It's been one doormat team in the SEC football. And this past weekend, they look damn good. I'm talking about Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
You know, think about that. Vanderbilt was able to go out there and get them a transfer. You see what I'm saying? They brought them a quarterback in with some moxie. And it's changed that whole landscape of, you know what I'm saying, their whole team. Now that program looks, you know, but if money wasn't involved in this program, if the money was not there, Vanderbilt would not be able to go get somebody.
I don't think money has a lot to do with it. I think the portal has more to do with that than the money.
Well, think about it, because the revenue sharing the SEC is second to none. Think about that.
Yeah,
we could listen.
Money does play a part in that.
We could have this debate all week, like,
but we're not. But yeah, we're going to stay on. We're going to stay on topic here, guys. So my next one is after Utah State did not sign their papers with the Mountain West. That makes UNLV in play again, and now they may wind up in the Pac-12 after all, which I'll be honest with you is where I think they should have went to start with. Like, I really think they should have went to the Pac-12 with these teams. I don't know why they wouldn't. They're only getting $5 million a year from the Mountain West. Now, I will say this. Rumors had it yesterday that the Mountain West was trying to sweeten the deal to get them to sign, and they offered Air Force and UNLV a $10 million signing bonus.
And UNLV turned it down.
So, again, monies is involved here. And that's the reason why. That's the reason why. You know what I'm saying? Like money is the, it's the evil here, but the truth is all of these teams, all of these conferences are fighting for money.
You really want to know?
Had a chance yesterday to get $10 million extra dollars. And,
you really want to know?
And to be straight, John, they're only getting $5 million per year. So that's 2 years worth of revenue for them.
I think what's really driving this though is television contracts. It drives it up more than anything. I think it's one of the main things because you look. But
again, that's money. Those television contracts, the higher the money, the more.
Which SEC makes $51.3 million a year on their television contracts. I mean, that's
they're shared.
That's top.
That's what they were last year.
That's top dollar. Now I don't know what the Big Ten's making. I think it was like in the 60 something, 50s. I think.
Yeah, high 50s.
The Big Ten's in there somewhere, but I mean, for some of these schools like UNLV, I think this would bump them up a notch, especially for those games like you get with the not even football, like basketball, baseball. You would get a lot of these TV contracts, and you'd be shown a lot more than you would be with the Mountain West because you look at the Mountain West.
My thing is this: if you're getting $5 million, if you're getting $5 million from the Mountain West, and Pac-12 can get you 10 or 12, I mean, come on, why not? And they're offering for you to come and pay, part of your exit fee and everything else. Why not? I don't understand why you wouldn't go.
Here's the thing,
Jason, make some sense of that to me. Why wouldn't the running Rebs? Vegas, Pac-12. It's good. Looks like it's going to be a regional conference again. I mean, come on.
I think they might be holding out hope for a bigger conference to the offering.
Big 12. I think they're holding out hope for the Big 12.
You see
that's what I think. Yep.
I mean, because if you turn that down, then UNLV, hey, it's not like they're not looking like anything. The football team is looking pretty good this year.
You go from a $5 to $6 million deal to like, what is it, Brad? Pac-12, 40, 30 something TV deal.
I mean, it's just all about the numbers. Like you said, it's all about the numbers.
Yes. Before all the teams left, they were close to 30. They were 27 or 28.
Well, and then you go from being on CBS Sports, which the Mountain West, that's mostly the games that they come on late at night on Fridays and Thursdays. The CBS network, you would be going to like possibly ESPN because Pac-12 usually airs those big Pac-12 games during the week. And you would be going from that to like nationally televised games. And who would not want to be a part of that, to know that you get to have a little bit of piece of the pie to be able to be on nationally television, which that don't make no sense to me that a team would not want to do that.
All right, I'm going to get
– but then again, I mean –
I'm gonna get to an even bigger one here, but we can't take a lot of time because if Mindy shows up here, she'll be here in the next next 5-10 minutes. So, but all right. So the next one today, UConn is being talked about joining the Pac-12. However, the kicker here is that they are being talked about joining the Pac-12 only for football, because if you know the Big East does not have football, and UConn is one of the few teams that is independent, so they could go to the Pac-12 even if they get a half a share. If it's $12 million and they get a half a share, they'll get $6 extra million from the Pac-12 plus the 8 or 10 they get from the Big East for basketball. So it's actually a very smart move if they go just for football.
Here's the kicker, though. Is UConn going to improve any going to the Pac-12? Because UConn has not been great of a football program. they're just. I mean,
well, you got to understand.
They had an uptime with Jim. You know,
this will help with recruit.
Yeah.
If I'm a football guy, and especially UConn, and I'm trying to attract
and playing on national TV and things like you're talking about.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah.
That helps. That helps major because let's be frank, UConn is a basketball school. Men's basketball, women's basketball. It is a basketball school. And so being able to get out from under basketball, it's a great move for UConn.
Don't forget their baseball team. They got a decent baseball team too.
Well, look, I wouldn't know that. I don't know. I let you the experts.
They had a pretty decent baseball team last year.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. But this move for UConn for just football would make tons of sense for them since they're not even in a conference, you know, in football. And they've been struggling along trying to survive at not in a conference and for football. And they just can't get there. So if they could even get a half a share from the Pac-12, I think that's a big added bonus if they can get that. They are also talking to Gonzaga for basketball.
Which
now, I think the basketball with Gonzaga is they're trying to get at least the 8 teams for football because they have to do that for the college football playoff.
Which, like you said, Gonzaga.
But I think Gonzaga
they don't have a football program, so
they don't even have football. They have baseball and swimming and a lot of other things, but they don't have football.
I think it's time. I mean, if they did it, Brad, I think it'd be time. You know, Gonzaga for so long has been one of those powerhouses.
And they've always taught on mid majors, though, Jason, and that's what bothers me because if you look at their record, Brad, the last 10 years, they're not.
You think about it. They've been playing a bunch of mid majors. A bunch of high major schools.
To me, they're not a mid major, and I say that because they have beaten some really good teams along the way. Like some top 15, top 5 teams.
And they've done that.
That's just to me, that's not a mid-major. But people look at them like that because of the conference they're in.
But you're still gonna be considered a conference, like when Wichita State was winning, basketball. They still consider them a mid-major school. But it's based on the conference. They didn't play a lot. They played all the competition.
And I think
that's because the conference they're in.
Yeah, the conference ain't
the conference ain't that great. I mean, every now and then St. Mary's would be decent. Then they had BYU for a while, Brad, and then they would have. There was one year where San Francisco was decent, but it's not every year like that.
San Francisco was decent. Santa Clara every once in a while has a decent team.
Hey, they even said Memphis back in the day when John Calipari was in Memphis. Remember, he was a
mid-major,
a high major school. They were saying Memphis was a mid-major school.
Now I will say that St. Mary's is, to me, I wouldn't say they're on the level of Gonzaga, but they have been right there. They've been pretty close.
You're right.
They've hung tough in that conference.
Well, let's be honest.
That's another team.
If they do go after Gonzaga here, John, they're not going to go after just one. They're going to have to get at least 2 of these teams, I would think.
I think, and that's what I was going.
St. Mary's would be another.
That's what I was going with.
Yeah.
They'll probably go after St. Mary's next because think about it, Jason. You put Gonzaga in this conference. You put St. Mary's in this conference. You put Boise State, San Diego State. There's going to be some intense basketball being played.
Utah State, UNLV.
Come on now.
UNLV. I mean, like seriously.
There's going to be some intense basketball. Yeah, it really could.
Yeah.
It'll be some good games. It'll be some
for
huge it'll be huge blockbusters.
And let's be honest.
And another thing, just to add on this, instead of being on the CBS network every night and not having that, national televised game, you would be on ESPN probably every week. And you would have those big marquee games.
But let's even be further honest here. The Mountain West may not be able to stick together after all of this.
They may crumble.
And if they can't, there are some other basketball schools out there that could be in play. Now, they play football, but New Mexico, Nevada, the Lobos, the
What
Wolfpack out there, they play some pretty
about
good basketball.
What about Grand Canyon? Grand Canyon would be another name to look at for basketball.
Grand Canyon will be a great one because of baseball as well, but we'll see if they go that route. Plus, it gets them into Arizona, and they would have Arizona and Nevada. They would have all the West Coast out there, so that would be a great add too. But these two big names for UConn and Gonzaga, I had to talk about. However, I had to make sure that people know the UConn is just for football. And then, John, another thing that happened today is the Pac-12 files a lawsuit over poaching fees against the Mountain West Conference.
Well, I just read that. That was fun.
Just last year, John, they signed an agreement on this, and now they're filing a lawsuit against them. They're claiming that they're taking advantage of them while they're down, basically, is what they're claiming.
Well, and I think too,
in charging them major fees.
I think, and two on this
for these exit fees,
poaching thing, the Pac-12 is arguing that it isn't related to scheduling the football games, and I don't see how it's any of that.
Right.
And I think what's going to really happen, and this is just my opinion, you're going to have the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. They'll probably end with all this settling in the Pac-12 paying a reduced amount, in my opinion. What's going to happen? And
I think you're going to see a merger by the time this is all said and done.
Yeah.
That's what it's setting up to look like. That's what it's setting up to look like,
Well, a CBS writer wrote today that they were basically claiming they had no choice. They were under duress. And
yeah,
I don't know. Well, and listen, you got to look at
this is all a bunch of front. So basically, they're going to get together. They're going to have lawyers to talk and everything. And eventually, this is all going to go away. They're going to work out some numbers. It's going to be a merge more than likely. I think by the time it's all said and done, your other teams, Wyoming and New Mexico and Nevada and Air Force is one of them. There's a few other teams out there that's not being talked about here.
I think
I think in the end, you're going to see some of them all in the same, in the Pac-12. Don't you think, Jason?
Man, when the college football playoff starts and you see how close you were to getting in the college football playoff, that's where I say the merge begins.
And I'm going to tell you,
we all together and we get a chance to get in the college playoff. You're absolutely right, Brad. They will be merged. I agree with you.
I say this too, Jason.
Let the lawyers hammer out the numbers, get behind closed doors, and make another power conference.
Yep.
Man. That's all what it's turning into. You can't beat them. You got to join.
That's exactly what's going to wind up happening, I think.
Here's another thing I think caused a lot of this was when Oregon State and Washington State was wanting to schedule these teams. I think that had something to do with it because there was a little animosity. There was a lot of animosity there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think so. I think in the end, you're going to see basically a merger between a lot of these teams out there. It may even be called the Mountain Pacific Conference or something by the time it's all said and done. Who the hell knows?
They're going to keep Pac-12 together. They're going to keep Pac-12. They're going to keep their name.
I know Jason.
Yeah, they will. They will keep the Pac-12 because it has the. Yeah.
I know Jason's got to go, but I just wanted to say
they'll keep the Pac-12.
I don't want you to be smithering and having yourself a good time after this weekend. I want you to be on your best behavior.
Listen, I'm not. I wasn't gonna bring it up. I'm not gonna bring it up, but I know y'all know what's going on this weekend. If I could make it, I would make
Yeah.
it.
I'll tell you what's going to go on this weekend. We're going to beat that ass.
Hey, man, listen, we go. Hey, man, the train is coming. The Ole Miss Express train is coming.
Yeah, it might be headed to Florida after this year, is what I heard.
Stop that. The lane train is coming to Lexington.
The lane train is headed to Gainesville.
Man, here y'all go. See, I should have left 30 seconds ago. Here y'all go.
Jason, we love you, man.
All right, man. I'll see you guys later.
Have a good one, man. I love that guy, man.
All right,
He's
man.
awesome.
We'll see you, Jason. All right. So, real quick, John, the last thing I want to talk about before I bring Mindy in, because Mindy's here, but this is the last little topic that I had. So, if all of this fails that we just talked about for the last 30 minutes, I'm hearing that Texas State could be a last resort team because they are at 7 and they need at least one more team. And what's really interesting about this is if they do get Texas State, every single team in the new Pac-12 will end with State.
I think you could. I mean,
Oregon
look
State, Washington State, Fresno State, Boise State, Colorado State,
and Texas State.
Utah State. I mean, every school would end with State.
Well, and I think too, if you have, I don't know if a lot of people have watched Texas State play. I think they could be a good team to run into this conference and win because, you know, they whipped UTSA. They almost beat Arizona State, a team that's originally from the Pac-12. And a lot of people don't realize that they could compete in this Pac-12 with the football program. And their basketball hasn't been bad, but as far as a football thing, I think they could really go in there and they can compete with these teams. And you see it, you know, I think there was a couple people in the –
I'm just saying, I heard late this evening as a last resort, if UNLV don't go, if UConn don't go, if Gonzaga don't join, if, you know, the Mountain West don't merge, Texas State.
But the quick question is,
that last resort team.
Would Texas State make that move knowing that they got to travel across country, like with Texas, which that would be the biggest kicker because
quite as far. They're at least
they're not
in Texas,
as far,
you
know. But sort of like, see, here's my thing. I'm going to say this,
and they're in the conference USA.
We'll let Mindy in here real quick, but I just wanted to say this. I don't think they're ever going to recover because of Oregon and USC leaving. I think it's going to be a good conference, but I think them two big ones leaving is going to hurt that conference forward down the road. That's just me. I think losing them to the Big Ten was kind of devastating.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap this up, and we're going to go with our ace in the hole with Mindy.
It's time now for Ace in the Hole with Lady Luck, Mindy.
She's
back.
All right,
guys, welcome in. There she is.
Hello.
How are you tonight, Mindy?
I kind of feel like I was a 6 in the hole last week. You know, my up card was a 10, under was a 6. Hey, what can I say? It's the first time my model did not beat.
Yeah, let's do
a
quick review of what you did last week.
It wasn't a good review. How about that? I think I was like 1 in 4, something like that.
Yeah, well, you started 5 the first week, so
but here's the thing: I mean, it's not always going to go smooth. Sometimes you're going to have weeks where they don't look great, and then the next week you could probably knock them both out of the park. Like it's part of the betting model. Like I tell people all the time, which I'm not a big bettor, but at the same time, you got to know what you're doing to do this, and I think you do. Betting is on another level, and I'm not in that regard, but I know that a lot of people are in that. And what I would do, I would probably bet the house, and I lose every single thing I got. So that's why I stay on here with Brad, and I let you do all that modeling stuff and trying to figure out who's going to win and whatnot.
John does not need to bet. I can tell you that right now. I can tell you 100%. John does not need to bet because, like he just said, he would bet everything he's got on something. Just throw it out there. He's that confident in it. Instead of betting like a smart person, you bet a little here and a little there and a little here. I know that's how you bet. You're not putting $10,000 down on a bet. I know you're not. So
she's not the mattress guy.
A little here and a little there.
From Houston. Mattress Matt. She's not Mattress Matt from Houston. So
that's right. Putting it all on the Astros this year.
Put it all on the Astros. Oh goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a volume better.
Mindy,
so I do everything a little bit different than everyone else. So I actually put out a lot of bets because again, I always say it's easier for me to hit 11 out of 20 than 2 out of 3 every time. Which today though, I'm going to go 2 out of 3.
It is. And that's exactly how I kind of bet. I mean, if I'm going to bet, now I may not do 20, but I would rather bet 8 than bet 2.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I bet 20 or 30.
You know, I feel like if you bet 8 or 10, then you're more likely to hit 2 or 3 of them. You know what I mean? You know, so you come out either on top or at least equal, and then you play again. You live to see the next week. You know what I mean? That's how you're supposed to do it.
So, Mindy, I got a question.
With that said,
what you got this week?
Oh, that was the question. You were the intro this time. I got it. I got you.
I'm trying to be Brad tonight. I'm interested this week because there's some really good games this week.
Well, and then it's one of those like, I'm kind of running behind.
College football.
Yeah. So I'm running a little bit behind. So I only got 3 games for you today, but I got my lock for you, and I got my what else was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. You know, that winner that comes from behind that gets it. What do you call that? Upset alert. There we go.
Upset alert. Yeah.
And then I got just a regular old pick for you.
Yeah.
On one of those state teams you were talking about.
All right.
So you got to lead the way. With,
so
which one I should do first?
What's your regular pick?
I'll get old regular pick with that state team.
What's your regular pick? Let's start with that one.
All right. We're going to look at Washington State versus Boise State. So there's a couple state teams for you. But yeah, this one here, I kind of think, the Cougars, they're kind of looking battle tested so far. They've been like pretty impressive to me. They got those wins over Washington State, over San Jose State. I think it totally justifies that 25th place ranking, that they're sitting at. I just take a look at it. I mean, I think they're going to be decent. They're better than I thought so far. They're also a team that wins us money, and I like that. So they're 3-1 against the spread this year, and the Broncos are the opposite. So these are the guys that aren't making us any money. They're 1-2. So this point spread for Washington State here looks pretty good to me, being plus 7.5. I just think here this one goes to the Cougars defense. So I'm going to take those points. I like the Cougars here, plus 7.5. I like that defense. They forced 5 fumbles so far and 5 interceptions. I love a great defense.
Yep.
They have been playing well. I will forewarn you that Boise State has a hell of an offense. So that one kind of worries me. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay, right? It's, that's the fun part about handicapping. It's literally a 50-50 spot every time we look at it, right? I mean, all we're trying to do is find a little bit of the little bit of edges. And so for me, I think the defense is going to be that little bit of an edge.
Now, Washington State
John
has
Mateer, I think he's
played.
battle tested. I like him.
Washington State has played really, really well so far. I mean, not only the San Jose State game last week, but 2 weeks ago they handled Washington, who was like a 5.5-point underdog in that game as well, and won 24-19, I think, in that game. So they're 4-0 and looking really good, to be quite honest. So I can't say anything bad about the Cougars here. So.
It's an arm wrestle. It's
so
grudge
let's
match.
go
Me
with
versus
your
Brad.
Let's go with. I didn't say that I wouldn't. I'm just like Boise State kind of worries me with their offense. But all right, so let's go with the lock of the week.
All right, so I totally missed
What do you got
on
for the
my. I totally missed with my Huskers last week. I mean, they had a chance to win it right at the end. But no matter what, if they would have kicked that field goal to win, they still would have lost by the points. And both of those teams suddenly decided that they were going out and were going to be ready to score. So there's a couple different things that I look at when modeling college football. One of those is quarterback play, of course, because I feel like it's a lot like Major League Baseball. You got a good quarterback, you got a good, chance of winning this, right? And so if I just take a look at these two quarterbacks head to head, right, we're looking at quarterback scoring impact. So we got this Illinois team that I've been talking about, right, with Altmaier. He's averaging about 13 points of offense, just him alone. And then we have this Penn State quarterback, right, Drew Aller. He's out there, and he's going to be averaging about 21 points of offense. So if I take a look at 21 minus 18, that's only a +3 for Penn State. And so now this spread is coming down to about, +18 for Illinois. So if we just look like quarterback play versus quarterback play, quick math on that, I love the Illini here getting the +18. I mean, that's almost like 3 touchdowns for an Altmaier that's literally throwing more touchdowns than he has almost incompletions. I mean, the guy has been outright incredible. So I'm going to go ahead and take Illinois +18 as my absolute lock of the week.
All right. Those are definite picks that both of them, to be quite honest with you, that if they come in, I will definitely have to give you your props on these picks.
Are they the head
There's
scratchers?
no way around it. Well, Happy Valley is a tough place to play. I agree with you. Illinois has looked really good. We talked about Altmaier earlier on this show tonight and talked about how well he is playing. So, we did bring him up this earlier in the show. So you are right. The way they have been playing, I think they could possibly play within that 18 points seems like a lot. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's
I'll
lot
give
of
you that.
Down to.
What about you? What about you,
Too many
John?
points. I mean, Penn State's going to win
18
this
points.
game. What's that?
Yeah, I mean, even at Penn State, I think, because Penn State has a notorious thing to have games where they don't really play well, and their offense goes kind of scatterbrained. They have a game where they play really well, and then
especially
they have a game
against good defense.
Yeah, and they just look like they haven't never played it down in their life. Like, and I can agree with her on this one. I think Altmaier's playing really well. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Illinois upset them a couple of years ago there? Was it a couple of years ago in overtime, I think?
Oh, that could be. I mean, it sounds familiar.
I can't remember. There was
I also think of, Penn State being that methodical team too, right? They're going to go to the ground game a lot. They average, 104 out of their running back.
Well, and I think too, this is the kind of game that whoever gets a decent stop and gets one of those stops in the red zone and win this game, like it's a tough environment to play in, but Illinois ain't not accustomed to that. They went into, Nebraska, which is improved, way improved and won. Like which I'm not saying Nebraska is a better place than Penn State, but it's still a road game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
the road teams have been really good this year, I think. And hopefully we continue that little stretch.
All right, Mindy. So what about your upset pick of the week? Now, in week one, you picked not one, but two upsets right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only things I'm getting right so far is the upset.
Memphis.
That's the only thing I'm
you
getting
had
right.
Pitt and Memphis in week one. Last week, what was your upset pick? Did it come in too?
Yeah, I thought that one did, but now you're putting me on the spot and I don't remember because I know I lost Nebraska, I lost Auburn.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember now either.
It was Arkansas, I believe, and Auburn.
It may be.
That was my lock?
That was your lock, yeah.
Yeah, so I knew I lost my lock. Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know.
I can't remember either. All right, but I do remember the first week you got two of them right. So, all right.
Yeah, it was Pittsburgh I got right the first time
tonight.
as well. Yes. Pittsburgh versus West Virginia.
Yeah. Yep. And you had Memphis 6.5 with FSU.
FSU,
yeah.
All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and go with a script that we saw last year. Okay. So we got Louisville out there, 3-0 start to 2024, right? They just showed up and they kicked Georgia Tech's butt in a convincing way. Here comes Notre Dame, the wobbler of the conference right now. Couldn't even pull away from Miami, Ohio, right? I mean, this one here, I'm going to go ahead and feel like this is going to be that last year.
They haven't looked great.
Over again. I mean, it feels like a defensive battle again, right? Last year it was at 7-7. And then it just went to all of a sudden we have Louisville out there, 26 points in the second half, put up 195 yards rushing. I'm going to take him here at plus 185. I'm going to take him here just for the straight up win.
Picking the Cardinals over the Irish. I like that.
I'm doing it.
And that's at Notre Dame. That's at South Bend.
It is
this time. Last year,
and we have
they
to
did
watch
knock them off. But it was in Louisville.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This year it
was in Louisville last year. Like this one, if they beat them this year, I think it'd be even more impressive if they. Can beat them this year.
Right, for sure. Whenever, like you said, winning games in college or in the NFL is hard, no matter how you look at it. So no game out there. I give credit to every team that can win a ball game, even if you're supposed to win it. It is hard to win games. And so I agree with you, especially when you go into that hostile territory. But Notre Dame, they got to pick it up. And that 3-0 start, I like what I see so far from them. They've had 7 players score 7 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Well, and I think too, as you look at Notre Dame, they lost to Northern Illinois, and they struggled to even beat Miami of Ohio, and that's a cause for concern.
Yeah, it's one of those things like look, right? We were like, oh, the Bengals, they should be able to get a get right game. That didn't happen last night, and I think this is kind of one of those things we expect Notre Dame to have that get right game, but I'm not sure this is it.
Speaking, I know you bet high on the NFL. Jaden Daniels is the truth.
Man, I guess so. He might be the only Heisman that I've ever seen come out and perform like that. I mean, honestly,
he put on a show last night. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's like Lamar Jackson with a better arm.
Did you have to bring Lamar Jackson up today?
Did I? I didn't mean to. Was I not supposed to? I don't know all backstory.
I'm just kidding me.
I'm fine with Lamar Jackson. We beat his ass. That's all.
We know you are. We know you are because they beat Dallas.
Man, I was rooting for those Cowboys too, man.
I was talking about in college. That's what I was talking about.
Okay. Well, good.
I wasn't talking about the Ravens.
Oh.
Keep it.
All right, you
All
guys.
right,
Hey,
Mindy.
thanks again.
So
That's all I got today.
Is that what you have
you know,
for us?
That's all I got today. I was
Okay.
running a little bit behind, and so I just
All right.
got through there, got through my stuff, got all my sheets, and ready to go.
Right. Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming on each week and doing this for us. Mindy, you've been great, and we look forward to having you back next week and moving on, maybe throughout the season. Even with basketball,
the thing I love about Mindy
are cool with that. But I know
I love hoops. See that?
Well, the thing I love about Mindy is she gets to come in and she gets to be her own celebrity. She gets her own music.
24 is mine.
She gets her own introduction. Like who gets that nowadays?
Do you see my shirt?
Lower Marion.
Lower
I
Marion.
don't know what that is.
33.
That's where Kobe Bryant played high school. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
That's Kobe's high school jersey.
Yeah.
Nice. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I need to know more about my Kobe history, I think.
Yeah, that's Kobe's high school jersey.
Trust me, Brad can tell you. Brad's a big Kobe guy.
All right, awesome.
I'm a huge Kobe guy.
Yeah.
All right, Mindy, we appreciate you coming on, and we will see you next week for Ace in the Hole.
Let's do it.
We appreciate it, Mindy.
All right, thanks so much.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Our Lady Luck.
Let's do it. Let's get some wins.
All right.
I'm ready. Bye, guys.
All right, let's go. All right, guys, that was Mindy from OG Cappers, and she joins us at 9 Central, 10 Eastern each Tuesday night to do this now with us, and we appreciate her being here. Try to give you guys a little bit of flavor for betting throughout the week. So you've got a few days here to kind of weigh what she says and decide if you want to go with what she does or not before the weekend. And I thought Tuesday nights would be a good one to have her on. So that's what we are going to stick with at least through football season.
Are you ready for your
All right, John.
Your Heisman
Next. Yeah.
You ready for your Heisman list?
Heisman. Yep.
Yeah, we was going to talk about it. What you said, our Heisman rankings.
As soon as I find it, yes. It's on here.
I love talking about this because you could mix and match guys. You can mix and match guys everywhere on this list. It's up there.
All right, there it is. Our Heisman watch. All right, so let's run through this kind of quickly so I can talk about what we're going to be doing coming up.
One is Travis Hunter. What can't the guy do? He took over the Baylor game last week. I mean, he does it all. He plays offense, plays defense. It's truly, to me, it's remarkable how much
never
of a difference
comes off
maker,
the field.
considering the high volume he plays and the level that he plays at. It's just impressive to me. Two would have to be your guy, Cam Moore.
Quick question when it comes to Hunter, real quick though. Will he really get consideration? Do you think because it's almost always a quarterback, and if not, it's a running back 9 times out of 10.
I'm curious about that. I don't know how they'll do that because like you said, a lot of times it's quarterback. We've really never seen a defensive guy. Now we did see Charles Woodson. Was it 97? He won it from Michigan.
Long time ago.
Which I thought
was a long time ago.
Which I thought Peyton Manning should have won that, by the way. That's a topic for another day, but at the same time, congrats to Charles Woodson. But number 2 is Cam Moore, your guy. I think he's a difference maker. He's right in the thick of this. He really showed out Saturday against South Florida. He threw for 400 yards. 3, to me, would be Ashton Jeanty. They seem to overlook him.
I'm liking your list so far.
I think
Yeah.
A lot of people overlook him a lot because he plays for Boise State. But this dude is an absolute stud. And while he didn't have a real good performance last week, he had one against Oregon that was up there with just about any running back in the country. And they play an undefeated Washington State team at home this week. So, like Mindy, she wrote that game, so it should be interesting how that game goes. 4 was 3, right? 4 would be Jackson Dart. But I'm going to be fair here. Jackson Dart really has not faced much competition. But he's putting up big numbers every week.
He still has the numbers.
He does.
Yep.
And he leads the nation in passing yards. I think he break Tim Couch's record for most yards in a certain amount of games or something. There was a record on it earlier. I can't remember. It was something. But anyways, I think Jackson Dart has really had a great year so far. So was that 4? That was 4, right? 5 would be Jalen Milroe. He's got a big game this week. We'll talk about that more Friday, but they bring the Georgia Bulldogs to town, which I think is going to be a fun game to watch. He's got a chance to put his name at the top of the list this week. I think he'll climb if they was to win this. Even if they lose, I think he'll climb. I still think he's a great quarterback. Their offense is having a great year so far, except for the little South Florida game where they had penalties. They had a lot of mistakes go wrong. And I'm going to go a little bit different for my number 6. And it might not be somebody you know, but it might be Eli Holstein from Pittsburgh. He's putting up some really big numbers. They're 4-0 starting out of the gate, Pittsburgh is. And then, a couple of guys that are kind of in the back there is Dylan Sampson, I think, from Tennessee, and Caleb Johnson from Iowa. I think Caleb Johnson's having a really good year at running back. Dylan Gabriel's there, but I wanted to go somebody kind of different with Holstein. It's unbelievable. The ACC, you've got Pitt and Duke at 4-0, and Florida State is struggling like they are. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say.
100%.
That's all I got to say.
All right, guys, our final buzzer. Just so you guys know, be on the lookout. Basketball season practice started yesterday. And here in Kentucky for girls and boys, women's and men's, I'm going to be covering the women's team this year and excited about that opportunity. We are planning to do a weekly show. Now, this show, I'm not real sure when we're going to do it, when we're going to squeeze it in time-wise and stuff. I know next week we are going to do a preview show for the season, men's and women's. We are going to do a preview show for Kentucky basketball. I want you guys to know, I want you guys to be here. We're going to talk about Mark Pope. We're going to talk about Coach Kitty Brooks. We're going to talk about all the new players brought in and the hype and where we think these teams can go, what their schedules look like. We're going to break it all down for you next week. Talk about who could possibly be an All-American on the women's side. We have a All-American that was transferred in here, Georgia Amore, and how good they can be. We're going to talk about Pope and Jackson Robinson and how good the men's can be, and kind of look at everything next week.
Don't forget
that is going to be a preview show.
Don't forget my guy, Lamont Butler. I'm a big Butler guy. I like Lamont Butler from San Diego State.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of them. I mean, I'm just throwing out some names.
Butler's just a guy that I've always been fond of when he played at San Diego State.
Jonathan, Jared, Vin Hardy, I appreciate you guys being here.
Vinny Hardy was here?
And Yep, Vinny Hardy was here, stopped by, had that comment right there. So I appreciate it, Vinny.
Jared says,
hope you enjoyed our big fuss.
Jared said, Pope's got a roster, should make it to the Elite Eight. Now, Jared, let's not get the cart before the horse, because there's still a lot
We'll talk about all of it next week. But we are going to break it down, and we are going to do the men's team and the women's team. So just so you guys know, we're not going to spend the whole show talking just about the men's.
And there's a possibility
covering the women's.
go ahead.
Yeah, with me covering the women's, like I'm going to have some possibilities, some chances, maybe to have some quick interviews and stuff here and there. Maybe I can play some clips and stuff like that. Now, I am not in with the men's just yet, but I'm working my way there, and we are excited about getting to cover this women's team just as much because they're going to be really great good as well. So
they're going to be
have
really
a good team, and absolutely, we're going to have a great team, and we're going to be excited about it.
Coach Brooks is a really good coach. If for those that don't know who he is.
So we will see you guys next week. I'm not sure exactly what date that's going to play. It might be recorded. I got to figure out a day that we can do all this and fit all this in. So just to let you know. But we hope you enjoyed the Big Fuss Show here at College SportsCast, and we will see you Friday night for our game day pick.